Om Dakshinasya Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyama Asmadacharya Paryanta Smarya Guru Parampara Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaran Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Parijnanashrama Shri Guru Shankara Parijnanashrama Shankara Sadguru Keshava Vamana Krishna Panduranga Ananda Parignana Guru Satyojata Shankara Sadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let's read the Mangalacharana Shloka, Dhyana Shloka. Vedantadindimah ekam udghoshyanti yat astam purastat tejaha Dakshinamurthy Sannitam. So, here now, we have been seeing the first few verses. We have we have completed the 6th verse, Samashti and Vyashti. And also we did the next verse, the 7th verse also we did. Jnana karma padarthaudvau vastu kartratma tantrakau. Jnanad moksho na karmabhyaha iti vedantadindimah. We saw that last time. We almost completed that last time. Now what it says is that as we are dividing the whole universe, including this me, the jiva, we are dividing the whole universe into a set of two, different sets of twos. And then we saw Atma, Anatma, then we saw Samashti and Vyashti, then we saw Sukha, Dukkha. So, in two ways in which Jnana, Ajnana, Jnatra, Jneya. So, how we can divide the whole universe into different sets of two we saw. And here in the previous verse we saw that Jnana, Karma, Padarthau, Dvau. There are only two things that are going on in this universe. Knowing, doing. Knowing and doing. If you see our own daily lives, everyday lives, when we see, what are we doing? Each one of us is doing, we are either knowing things or doing things. Either I know what I want to do, or either I know what I have done, or I know what I am doing, knowing, and according to that, doing. There is a jnanam, there is an ichha, and then there is a kriya. Jnanam means what? The knowledge about something. Then there is an ichha to transact with what I know. Then there is a karma. So there is a jnana shakti in all of us. There is an ichha shakti in all of us. And there is a kriya shakti in all of us. So we are doing only knowing and doing. Knowing and doing. And what Vedanta says is, doing, whatever we are doing, whether it's laukika karma, whether it is any kind of a Vaidika karma, whatever, doing keeps me bound. Doing always keeps me bound. Me means anybody who's a doer. Why? Whenever I do something, normally, whenever I do something, see, let us assume that we are all ajnanis. We don't know Aham Brahmasmi yet. We don't know what is Brahma Jnanam yet. How do we do things? I am the doer, isn't it? Now, there is a knowledge that something is available somewhere. a thing, an object called as X is available somewhere. Okay, that is my knowledge, jnana. Then there is an ichha that arises in me. Oh, I think I should see what that X is. And if it is useful for me, I should buy it. It will be helpful for me. Ichha arises in me. Then what do? Oh, if it is available there and if it fulfills my desire, let me go there and see that object X and see how I can acquire it. Kriya. So there is a jnanam, there is an ichha, then there is a kriya. Fine. This is my doing. And how is it that I'm doing all these things knowing? Now I say, I know that this object X is available in such and such a place. Fine. So the I comes, the ahankara. Then I desire. Who desires? It is the ahankara, the body, mind, sense complex. Ahankara decides, oh, this is something which is interesting. I think I should have it. If I have it, it will be good for me. So there is an ichha, a desire in me to acquire something. The ahankara desires. Then the body, mind, sense complex is literally made by the ahankara to go and then do whatever is necessary. The body and sense organs are following the ichha of this ahankara. Correct? So, behind all these three things, there is a karta. There is a doer. And who is that karta? I think aham karta. I came to know that there is something available like this. I think it is useful for me and I should have it. And therefore, I should go and get it. So there is a kartritvam here, bhoktritvam here. So what happens to that chain? The last part of this chain is what? I do the karma and I acquire the karma phala. Whatever is the karma phala, I acquire it. Now, what is said here is this kind of a karma, any kind of a karma, any action done with the idea that I am the doer, aham karta asmi. That kind of a karma binds me. Why does it bind me? It binds me with the karma phala. There is a karma phala awaiting to be fulfilled. In this particular life, whatever I expect from a particular karma may not be fulfilled because there's no time for that karma phala to get fulfilled. So what do? Then this ahankara, this sense complex mind, this jiva has to come back again. It has to come back again to go through or to experience the karma phala. So what happens? Any karma, any action that I do as I, the ahankara, desiring to do an action, I, the ahankara, desiring an outcome or a phala out of this action, I become bound by the karma and the karma phala. Correct? So I keep coming back again and again. This is called as bandha. This is called as a life of bondage. Whether I like it or not, to go through or to fulfill the karma phalas of what was done by this so-called karta earlier, maybe not in this life, 10 lives earlier, 20 lives earlier, but this karma phala did not have a chance to get itself worked out, to fulfill itself, waiting. This karma as a sanchita karma in the form of prarabdha karma, etc., are waiting. These kind of karma phalas are waiting to be fulfilled, waiting to be worked out. Therefore, what happens here? This karma binds me. Whereas what is jnanam? Jnanam is I am the Atma. I am the Chaitanya Atma. I am that consciousness which is neither the Karta nor the Bhokta. The Atma is a mere witness consciousness of Ahankara, body, mind, sense complex. So this knowledge, what does it do? A jnani knows that Whatever action is happening, it's happening through this body, mind, sense complex with the Jagat outside. Gunaha guneshu vartante. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartante. Na aham kinchit karomi. We have seen it several times, and also Bhagavad Gita we have seen this, isn't it? So what has happened is now Jnanam releases me. What Jnanam? Not the Jnanam of X is available in some mall or something. No. Aham akarta abhokta atma asmi. This is the knowledge which frees me from samsara. I am not the doer. I am the consciousness behind the doer. I am not the sense organs which are doing something. I am the consciousness behind the sense organs. When I realize it clearly, I clearly understand that doership is not in me. What is happening is something which is happening automatically as a transaction between the ahankara, body, mind, sense complex and the jagat. I am not the ahankara. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the sense complex. We saw that in the first very verse itself. Okay. Aham Atma. I am not the Dehadihi iti Vedantadindimah. Atma Brahma na Dehadi iti Vedantadindimah. The very first teaching verse here made us to realize that very clearly. Therefore, here he says, Jnanat moksha na karmabhyaha. We are still in the second line of the 7th verse. Jnanat tu eva kaivalyam. That is what is said. Every Upanishad says that, okay, Jnanat tu eva moksha. Jnanat tu eva kaivalyam. Nothing else. Therefore, even in Kathopanishad we saw Nachiketa asked this question, okay? Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat. What is that which is beyond papa and punya? What is that which is beyond karta and karma phala? Nachiketa asked this, okay? Therefore, nasti akritaha kritena. Even Kathopanishad says that, Mundakopanishad says that. Is there something which is beyond karta, which is beyond karma? That is the Atma I. And this knowledge frees me. That I am this consciousness, other than the karta, bhokta, ahankara. This knowledge frees me. So, what here is saying? Jnanat mokshaha na karmabhyaha. No karma, however wonderful it is. No karma, however auspicious it is. No karma, however Vaidika it is. It can only give me Chitta Shuddhi. It can only give me Chitta Naichalyam. No karma can ever give me freedom from the samsara. Therefore, Jnanat mokshaha na karmabhyaha. However exalted my karma may be, at the most it can take me to Brahmaloka. My upasana and karma, most exalted karma, most exalted upasana, what can I get ultimately? It can maybe final, it can get me Brahmaloka prapti. Nothing other than that. Therefore, what he says is, na karmabhyaha, means what? Karmabhyaha na mokshaha. No freedom. There is more and more bondage. Okay. Then, in the next one, in the next 2-3 verses, in the 8th, in the 9th, and in the 10th verse, the author wants to cull out the Vedantic truth, saying that there is only one thing which is worth listening about. There is only one thing which is worth ruminating on. Okay? There is only one thing which is worth contemplating upon, and that is Brahman. So what he wants to say here is, Brahman or Atma is that which is available or which can be understood by Shravanam, Mananam and Niddhidhyasanam. So here he wants to say, what is it that is known through Shravanam? What is it that is understood doubtlessly by Mananam? What is it that is internalized by Niddhidhyasanam? It is only Brahman. So the next three verses are talking about Shravanam, Mananam and Niddhidhyasanam as the only sadhana for understanding this Atma, Jnanam. Okay, there's the only way we can understand, that is the Shravanam, Mananam and Niddhidhyasanam. It is the only way of understanding this Atma or Brahman. That is what is going to be told in the next three verses. So let's read the 8th verse. Let's see what it is. Shrotavya Shravya Rupau Dvau Padarthau Sukha Dukkhadau Shrotavyam Brahmanaivanyad iti Vedantadindimah. Okay, so he says, the whole universe can now be again divided into two things from a different point of view. What are they? Shrotravya, Ashravya, Rupa, Udvau. There are only two things in this universe. That which is worth listening to. Okay? That which is not worth listening to. So now, if we look at our own lives, we'll find that 99% of our day is lost in listening to things which are really not worth it. They only cause more disturbance in our minds. They cause more bondage in us. They bring about a number of emotions which are not good, not really allowing Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Naichalyam to take place. And what the author says is, everything else in this universe is not worth listening to. However good it may sound, it is not worth listening to. There is only one thing which is worth listening to, because that particular thing, when heard properly through the Guru and the Shastra, that gives me what? Moksha, or freedom from this entire samsara. Okay, so he says, Shrotravya Ashravya Rupaudvau. That which is compulsorily to be listened to by all of us, which we don't. We don't listen. What we have to listen to, we don't listen to. Ashravya Rupa. Whatever we are listening is not worth listening to, isn't it? Either we are listening to some kind of a program on the TV, or we are listening to something on the YouTube, some kind of, arguments which are going on, debates which are going on, which are over which we have no control. Nothing can happen. We cannot do anything about them. It only disturbs us. It only creates a chaos in our mind. But that is what we are hearing all the time. We are gossiping all the time about other things. We are talking about politics, which we cannot do anything. Ishvara is taking care of our country, of everything. But we are talking and talking and talking. Ashravyam. We are listening to things which are not worth listening to. So he says, Shrotravya, Ashravya. There are two things. That is, one which is worth listening to. Shravana Yogyam. There is only one thing in this Jagat which is Shravana Yogyam. Okay? All the others, they are not worth listening to. Ashravyam they are. So, there is only thing which is worth listening to, should be listened to, and should be listened to through the proper pramana. What is the proper pramana? Guru, Shastra, Vakya. Upanishad Vakyas are the pramana. And these Upanishad Vakyas are coming through the Guru's Mukha, Guru Mukhena Shastra Shravanam. That is the only thing which is worth listening to, because that is talking about my reality, my real nature. The Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, I am Atma Brahma. Iti, that is the only thing which frees me, this knowledge, this listening. Everything else in this Jagat, however exalted it may look, nothing wrong. I'm not saying, Vedanta teacher also says that 24 hours you have to listen to Vedanta. No, that's not what is said. For our transactions, we have to listen to other people, we have to listen to other things, we should be aware of what is happening everywhere outside us, around us. Yes, but understanding that all these things are not going to lead us anywhere. Okay, if I can withdraw myself from most of the things and listen to what is really necessary for my transaction, is it necessary for me to listen to anything and everything that somebody is talking about? It is not. Then I don't have time for the real thing that is worth listening to. So he says, Shrotavya means what? That which is yogya, Shravana yogya. And ashravya means what? That which is junk, which is trash, and which is not worth listening to. At the most, a few things will help us in conducting our transactions better. There's no harm. Let us listen. But do we have any filter in us? We don't. We talk without a filter. We listen without a filter. Anything and everything that the world throws at me, I am grasping that through all my sense organs. That which is not worth seeing, I'm seeing. That which is not worth listening to, I'm listening. And I say, I don't have time for Vedanta. I don't have time for my sadhana. I don't have time to do any. I'm doing everything else, but I don't have time for my sadhana. So he says that Shrotravya Ashravya Rupau Dvau Padarthau Sukha Dukhadau. Isn't it? We are listening to all kinds of nonsense on the TV and on the internet morning to night. Does it give us any kind of sukha? Very rarely. Even that sukha also lasts for a very short time. So what is being said here is all that unnecessary shravanam, about unnecessary things, ultimately what is it? It is something dukkhadao. Whereas that which is the only thing which is worth listening to, which is nothing but Brahman, is the one which gives me the real sukham. Because when I listen to Brahman, when I listen to what Brahman is, through the Shastra and the Guru's Vakyas, what is it that I understand? I am that Brahman. I am the Sukha Svarupa Brahman. I am that Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Atma, Brahma. And this listening and this thing which I have heard, what does it do? It frees me from all my problems. If I properly hear, properly listen, properly contemplate over it and assimilate, then that really jnanatu eva mokshaha na karmabhyaha, what we saw in the previous verse. So, shrotavyam brahma naiva anyad. Ashravyam is not Brahman, it is anatma. That which is not worth listening to, but which we are listening to most of the time, that is anatma. Listening about anatma is actually not something which is going to lead us anywhere. That's what he's saying. Shrotavyam Brahma. Na yeva anyad. Naiva anyad. Ashravyam is not Brahma. Only Shravana Yogyam is Brahma. And what is Shravana Yogyam? Only one thing. Who am I? What is my real nature? What is the reality of the Jagat? What is the reality of Ishvara? This is the only thing which is worth listening to. Iti Vedantadindimah. So this is talking about Shravanam. And one thing we have to understand, Why is it that listening about my reality as Atma Brahma Swarupa is necessary? We have seen it in the previous verse. Two things. Vastu Tantram and Kartru Tantram. Correct? Brahman or Atma, my reality is Vastu Tantram. Therefore, when I listen to my reality, my real Swarupam as Atma Brahma, being Vastu Tantram, it reveals to me the reality of that Vastu. Understood? Whereas Ashravyam is something which is Kartru Tantram. I listen if I want. I don't listen if I don't want. Whatever I listen also about Anatma, I can misinterpret. I can wrongly understand it. All these things are there. Therefore, what he says is that because Brahman or Atma is Vastu Tantram, listening about Atma or Brahman, which is Vastu Tantram, is really going to lead me to freedom from Anatma, freedom from samsara. Whereas, when I listen to that which is Ashravyam, it is Kartru Tantram, Kartru Pradhanam, and there is always mistaking, there is always misunderstanding. And therefore, it says that listening to the Shastra Pramana Guru Mukhena, Brahman Atma being Vastu Tantra is the one which is going to give me the Yathatmyam of myself. Yathatmyam means what? I am the way I am, the reality of myself as I am. That is what is going to give me the freedom from samsara. Now, next in the next verse, he comes to mananam. See how the things have developed in the first 10 verses. First, the Acharya wants to divide the whole universe into a set of two from different points of view. And he says that Atma is Brahman and Anatma is Jagat, that is not Brahman at all. Atma is that which releases me from samsara. Anatma is that which binds me to samsara. Knowledge of Atma frees me from karma. The knowledge of Anatma binds me more and more into karma. Therefore, what is it that is worth listening to? It is only Atman or my real nature, Brahman. It is the ultimate Shravyam or Shravana Yogya, ultimate Shravana Yogya Vastu is Atma. And since this is the Shravana Yogya Vastu Tantra Rupena Vartate, therefore, just listening is not enough. I have to mull over it, think over it, do mananam over it again and again. And in the next verse, in the 9th verse, he talks about the process of mananam in the form of chintanam and achintanam. Chintanam. So he says chintya, achintya, he says. That means what? That which is worthy of mananam is only Brahman. Anatma is not worthy of mananam. That means what? Supposing I hear a lot about Anatma Jagat, what is happening here, what is happening there, who's right, who's wrong, this is what, all kinds of things. Okay, fine. It has not made any difference to my life. Isn't it? No difference. It is the same. But at the same time, it makes me to go deeper and deeper and think about it again and again and again and again. More doubts, more problems, more depression, isn't it? And there can never be any ultimate answers for these things which is not worth thinking about, because my knowledge is only up to the next question. As my Vedanta Guru used to say, in Anatma, you can go on asking questions because there is no end to this. So in Anatma, your knowledge is as good as the next question. That's it. The next question can completely, floor me down because I don't know the answer for it. That is why it is called Kartritantram. Whereas Vastu Tantram Atma is what? Once I say Aham Brahmasmi, I have clearly understood it, then there is no further question at all. No further question. There's nothing to be known further, there's nothing to be heard, there's nothing to be asked for. Whereas in Anatma, once you listen here, there is more to be heard, more to be heard, more to be contemplated over, but it doesn't answer you. It doesn't give you the answer for anything. It only binds me. Therefore, in the next verse, in the 9th verse, Vedantadindimah says, Chintya chintya padartho dvau vishranti shranti dayako chintyam brahma param nanyad iti Vedantadindimah. Again, mananam. Shravanam we saw. The only thing which is Shravana Yogya is Atma Brahman, and Atma and or Brahman can be known only through Shravanam. But is that enough? No. I have to go to the next step called Mananam. Chintanam. Constantly ruminating, trying to remove my doubts, my samshayas, to remove all my samshayas. Samshaya pariharas I want to do. And therefore I have to do Mananam. Again and again I have to listen to the Shastra. I have to look into all the other references given by my Guru. I have to ask relevant questions to the Guru, relevant questions to the Shastra, and see whether I can get answers for that. So, what is all these things? This is a process of mananam. It's like chewing the cud, all these cows and all they do, chewing the cud. They swallow first, then slowly they bring out everything and chew it properly and swallow it again. So, this chewing the cud mananam is something which has to be done when Atma or the nature of Atma or Aham Brahmasmi iti Vedanta words are heard. I have to make that knowledge samshaya rahitam, doubt free, and therefore I have to do chintanam mananam. So here he says, there is only one thing, there are only two things in this world. What is worth thinking about? What is just not worth thinking about? See, most of our life goes in thinking about things which are not worth thinking about, isn't it? What will happen to me tomorrow? Yeah, we all should have some planning, no doubt. I'm not saying that no Vedanta, this thing says that no. I mean, tomorrow, if you have to eat, you have to bring things today and prepare, no doubt. If you want to travel somewhere 2 months before that, you have to book a ticket. All that is known, correct. But there are things about which we go on and on and on and on thinking which have no answers at all. Absolutely no answer. What will happen to my children when I'm no more? What will happen at 80 years if nobody is there to take care of me? What happens after 10 years if I fall sick? What happens if after 10 years I am alive and whatever money I have now is not sufficient for me? Is there an answer for any of these questions? We have no answers. So it is something which is achintyaha. It is not worth it at all because anything can happen and there is no control. And even thinking over it whole day, it's not going to give me any kind of answer. It is not going to give me any kind of a fulfilling answer. What will happen to my children after I die? Let me go on thinking about it from now to the next 5 years. Will I ever get an answer for that? Will this thought, will this chintanam or will this mananam ever give me any kind of a freedom from the fear or anxiety about that? No, it doesn't give me, isn't it? But aham brahmasmi, I have heard this Mahavakya. Tattvamasi, I have heard this Mahavakya. Now, if I have the shraddha that this is the right knowledge, but right now, my intellect, though it has heard it, though I have the Shraddha and the Shastra Guru, I have to make this knowledge doubt free, samshaya rahitam. So, what do? I do mananam over it. So, he says, chintya achintya padarthaudo vishranti shranti dayakau. I am Purnatva Swarupa Atma. Okay? I am not affected by the Prarabdha karma. I, the consciousness, is not affected by the Sanchita karma. Bhagwan Krishna said, I have duties to perform in all the three worlds. But none of these affect me. There is no lepa. There is absolutely no lepa by any of these things. Though I am all the time busy in all the three worlds doing so many things. If I stop working, if I stop functioning, the whole universe will collapse, he says, Lord Krishna. But nothing afflicts him. In spite of him, he knows that Aham akarta atma asmi. In my presence, my Maya Shakti does all that is necessary to be done. Isn't it? Now, even for us, when we understand that I am neither the Karta nor the Bhokta, the world follows a certain order which is called as Ishvara. This body, mind, sense complex is also a part of that order, being carried on by the prarabdha karma, etc., whatever it is, Ishvara's grace, prarabdha karma, everything. There is nothing that can be done about it. Let me think about the possibilities that are likely to come and make whatever arrangements I have to do and be quiet. But every day, thinking of the same thing again and again and again and again, is it going to solve my problems? Is it going to prevent me from facing a problem? Oh, what if this happens? What shall I do if that happens? I don't know whether it will happen or not in the first place. I can go on thinking about it for years together, but will that particular thought or mananam over anatma, will it give me vishranti or shranti? Vishranti means, freedom from anxiety, freedom from tension, anxiety, dukkha. Shranti, vishranti, shranti dayako. Shranti means what? More trouble, more disturbance in the mind. What is shranti dayakam? Achintya padarthas. Thinking about things, thinking about events, thinking about the anatma prapancha all the time, worrying about how it is going to turn out to be. It is not in my hands, correct? But then go on thinking about it, listening to the same anatma again and again, go on researching over it, till my next doubt, till the end of this, one more doubt will come. Till the next question is my knowledge about anatma. What does it give me? Only shranti. After watching all the serials, debates on the TV, not that I'm not saying that Vedanta doesn't say you be ignorant of what is happening around you. No, that's not saying that. You have to know what is happening around you to survive in this world. But if that becomes my preoccupation, if that becomes something where I'm all the time thinking about that, preoccupied with only that, it will only give me what? Shranti. Shranti means what? Disturbed mind, disturbed peace, disturbed health, disturbed sleep, psychiatric disorders, psychological disorders. That is called as Shranti. So he says, achintya padarthaudo. There are only two things in this world. One which is manana yogyam, which is Atma, which is Brahman, with that which was Shravana yogyam, Atma Brahman is the only thing which is manana yogyam. All the anatma mananam that we do, it is not worth it. Only mananam on aham brahmasmi gives me what? Vishranti, peace of mind. We always say, no, I want peace of mind. I want a break. I want a change. And we think for a few days going out of where I am, carrying the same mind with me wherever I go to Kailash Manusarovar, same mind I carry, the same chintas I carry with me, the same things which have no answer, which I cannot do anything about, I carry with me. And then when I come back more tired and more, shrantah, not even no vishranti, more shranti there. So what here Vedantadindimah says is, Chinta achintya padarthau dvau vishranti shranti dayako. There is only one thing, mulling over it, doing mananam over it, rethinking over it, that gives me vishranti, is only Brahman or Atma. Whereas the entire Anatma Jagat, 24 hours I can go on thinking about it, but it does not give me any Vishranti, because what will happen the next moment in the Anatma Jagat is as good, your guess is as good as my guess. No astrologer can predict exactly what is happening, what is going to happen. We saw recently so many, what you call as the Medhini Jyotishis predicted that there's going to be a serious tsunami in the first week of June. Date they gave, 5th July, that's going to be a tsunami, and half of Japan is going to get under the water. So many things. They have been killing so many important people in this world, long back. 2 to 3 times they have been killed, but nothing has happened to them. No tsunami came anywhere near Japan at the time given. Now, so what I'm saying is that what is going to happen in this Anatma Jagat is anybody's guess. Nobody can be clear about it or sure about it. And we are not Ishvara, we are not Lord Brahma to predict and say, look, at this time, on this day, this will happen. It's not. Can probably an astrologer can, to some extent, very, very vaguely give the possibilities and probabilities. But there's no question of predicting a certain, there is nothing called as a prediction. It is only giving the possibilities, probabilities among so many variables. That's all. So what he says is, Chintya achintya padarthaudo vishranti shranti gayako chintyam brahma. The only thing worth doing mananam is aham brahmasmi Brahma. Knowing, listening to Brahman and making that knowledge doubt-free by mananam, there is only one thing which is worth what? Myself, Atma Brahman. Chintyam Brahma Param na anyat. Param Brahma Chintyam. Param Brahman is only the Chintyam worthy of doing mananam, because it is going to lead me to niddhidhyasanam and freedom from this anatma forever. So the only Chintyam, the only thing which is worth doing mananam on is Param Brahma na anyad, not the other one. What is the other one? Anatma. The only thing which is worth listening to is Atma Brahman through Vedanta Shastra and to Guru Mukhena, that Vedanta Shastra Pramanam. The only thing which is worth doing mananam or chintanam is nothing but that Atma Brahman. Anatma is not worth doing Chintanam. Let us do the Anatma Chintanam to whatever extent it is needed for us. Whatever it is necessary for us to carry on our transactions in this world without getting fooled by anybody. That much knowledge, yes, we should have. There is no doubt about it. But beyond that, it is not necessary. What Vedantadindimah, or what Vedanta tries to tell us is, simplify your lives. Anatma only complicates our lives. Thinking about Anatma, talking about Anatma, constantly being in the Anatma all the time, it is only going to make me what? Complicate my life. And Jnani has simplified his life because he has understood what is to be understood. He has heard what is to be heard. He has contemplated over what is to be contemplated, and he's free. So, what Vedanta says is, put all your energies on listening to and thinking over, contemplating over that which is worthy of releasing you from this shranti, that which is capable of giving you this vishranti. Don't do that which is only going to worsen your problems. That's what it is saying. So, Chintyam Param Brahma. Param Brahma Eva. That's the only thing which is worth, doing mananam, that is thinking over it again and again to remove my doubts, to clear the samshaya. Na anyada, anatma or achintya padartha is not worth mulling over. Next, the 10th verse comes about niddhidhyasanam. Shravanam, Mananam, and Niddhidhyasanam. These are the three sadhanas for knowing this Brahman who is none other than myself. Okay? Everything else is anatma, not worth listening to beyond a certain extent, not worth thinking over beyond a certain extent, not worth contemplating over beyond a certain extent. What is needed for me to live my life, lead my life trouble-free. That also I can't say it will be trouble-free. Even the best thought over, the best planned actions by me can go wrong. We have seen that, isn't it? We take all the precautions. We plan everything to the T and say, yeah, I have done everything. Now everything should go fine. But have we not, ourselves experienced that the most planned and best planned and taking all possible variables into consideration, still things can go wrong. It doesn't mean we should not do things. It doesn't mean, that's why karmani eva adhikarahate ma phaleshu kadachana. Do whatever you have to plan, you plan. Whatever you have to do, you do. But understand one thing, that Shravanam, Mananam, and Niddhidhyasanam over Anatma, we don't know. The result can be what I want. The result can be less than what I want. The result can be even more than what I want. Or the result can be exactly opposite to what I want. Therefore, he says, whatever is needed to go through one's life without conflicts, without problems, that much of Shravanam, of Anatma, even enough. How much that is, each one of us have to decide. Okay? No guru can tell you, don't think of this, don't think of this, don't think, do think of this. He can't tell you that. It's not possible. So I have to decide. As a mumukshu, I have to understand, I have to realize, I have to think, is this necessary for me to listen to? Is this knowledge going to do anything, improve my quality of life in any way? Is this knowledge going to really give me something which is, going to give me the peace of mind that I want? Is thinking about these things, going on discussing, thinking about this, is it going to give me, what is the benefit of this? Is it necessary for me? All these things about what, okay, I should know, finished there. Going on with this one should have done that, that one should have done that. Why did he do that? Why did he not do that? What is that? All these things, what way are they going to improve my quality of life? They're only going to waste my life. And dhyayam, what am I constantly contemplating upon? That is what he's saying here. Two things again. The whole world he divides into two. Dhyaya dhyaya padarthau dvau, 10th verse. Dhyaya dhyaya padarthau dvau dhi samadhya samadhidau dhyatavyam brahma naivanyad iti vedantadindimah. Same thing. Dhyaya adhyaya padarthau dvau. Okay? There is only one thing which is worth contemplating upon. All the others are not worth contemplating upon, because things don't happen the way we don't get, because the anatma is kartritantram, it is not vastu tantram. Any amount of shravanam you do, any amount of mananam you do, any amount of contemplation, niddhidhyasanam, wonders on anatma, it is not going to help us, because it is kartritantram. Not only me, hundreds of people are doing the same thing in their own way, kartritantram. Whereas understanding of this Brahman, whether it is understood by one person or 100 people, it is one and the same, because it is, knowledge is as good as the vastu. Brahma Jnanam, Atma Jnanam is as good as Atma or Brahman. Therefore, the knowledge of Brahman is Vastu Tantram, not Kartru Tantram. This is something which you have to understand very, very well. So he says here, Dhyaya Adhyaya Padarthau Dvau. There are only two things in this universe. One which is worth contemplating upon, which gives me sukha, which gives me freedom from samsara, which gives me moksha. The second one, adhyeya. Okay, not worth contemplating upon. Not worth contemplating upon. Why did God create this world? There are discussions going. Why did God create this world? If God created this world, did he not know why he's kept so many people? Why Ishvara has kept so many people unhappy? All these kind of discussions. Okay. What is, is there free will or prarabdha? Okay. To some extent, okay. But go on and on and on contemplating over it. There is absolutely no end to this kind of a contemplation. So he says that dhyatavyam brahma. And what happens here? Dheya, adheya, padartha dvo, dhi samadhi, asamadhi dao. Samadhi means what? That which is making my mind one-pointed, focused, concentrated. Asamadhi dao means what? Which scatters my brain all over. A scattered brain. I won't be able to do even what I'm doing properly. Right now I'm speaking, I'm talking about this. If my brain is scattered into 100 anatmas outside, oh, what should you do after completing this session? I should go here, I should see that patient, I should do this, I should buy. If I'm thinking, if I'm contemplating over anatma at this time, what is going to happen to me? My intellect is going to be scattered. My mental energies are going to be scattered. So he says, dheya adheya padartha udvau. One thing worth contemplating upon. All the others, the anatma is adhyeya, not worth contemplating upon. Why? They are dhi, samadhi, asamadhi dao. Dhi means intellect. Samadhi, that which gives me focus, concentration, shanti, param shanti. We saw param shanti madhigachati. That which gives me dhi, samadhi means samadhanam, that which is able to make me one pointed, concentrated, and keep my intellect available for me, not scattered here and there. The next one is what? Asamadhi dao. That which creates only asamadhi, no concentration, no kind of focus, scattered here and there. What somebody is telling me, I have not understood or I have forgotten. That's why most of the time we find that whatever we tell, it is either misunderstood totally or not understood, because there is no concentration. The dhi is scattered, the dhi is asamadhi all the time, because anatma has occupied our brains and minds so much that we are not available for anything. The intellect is not available for anything. So here Vedanta says, Dheya Adheya Padartha Dhi Samadhi Asamadhi Do. That which creates peace and that which creates disturbance in me when I contemplate upon these two things. Dhyatavyam Brahma Naivanyaha. Dhyatavyam Brahma. That which is to be contemplated upon, that over which niddhidhyasanam should be done. Dhatavyam Brahma Yeva. Atma Brahman is the only one worth contemplation, because it results in a definite result called as Atma Jnanam, which frees me from Anatma. Whereas contemplation on Anatma makes me more confused, makes me more sad, gives me more dukkha, more scattered brain. It only keeps me perpetually in conflict. Perpetually in conflict. Okay, so he says, Dhyatavyam Brahma Naiva Anyat. Anatma is not worth contemplating upon. Deal with it as it comes. Think over that, what has to be done now, do it and finish it off, and that's enough, over. What happens, we don't know. Let Bhagwan take care of it. Whatever I had to do at that time, Karmani Eva Adhikara, to the best of my ability, I have done what is to be done. Now, what comes? Bhagwan's prasada. Then what happens here? With the Karma Yoga attitude, my Anatma Chintana comes down, my Dhi becomes more Yogya for this Jnanam, and my dhi or my intellect is capable of shravana, manana, niddhidhyasanam on this thing which is worth all the three, which is called as Atma or Brahman. That is why in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a famous dialogue between Yajnavalkya Maharishi and his wife Maitreyi. So he says, Atma va are drishtavyo, shrotavyo, mantavyo, nididhyasitavyaha. Hey Maitreyi, Atma is the only thing which is to be understood. Drishtavyaha means to be understood. For understanding Atma, it is to be Shrotavyaha. It should be heard. Shravanam should be done. Shastra Pramana. Shravanam Guru Mukhena should be done. Shrotavyaha. Mantavyaha. That is the only thing which is to be thought upon, ruminated upon, again and again and again, mananam. Then, nididhyasitavyaha. Atma va are maitreyi drishtavyaha, shrotavyaha, mantavyaha, nididhyasitavyaha. Yajnavalkya Maharishi did not say anatma va are maitreyi shrotavya. No. He said Atma va are maitreyi drishtavyaha, the only thing which is worth understanding. For that, shrotavyaha, to be heard. The only thing worth listening to. Mantavyaha, to be, ruminated over again and again. Nididhyasitavyaha, to be contemplated again and again. That is why there is another Upanishad also, it says that, what it says is that Tameva ekam janatha anya vacho vimunchatha. Where did we see this? Mundakopanishad, isn't it? The Acharya is telling, that is Angiras Acharya is telling Shaunaka, the Shishya, what he's saying, Tameva ekam janatha atmanam. May you know that one thing called as Atma. Anya vacho vimunchata. Anya vacho vimunchata. Forget about everything else, means forget about anatma. Okay? It says, Amritasya yesha setuhu. For amritatvam, for immortality, for moksha, this is the setu. This is the only means. Okay? Tameva ekam atmanam janhata anya vacho vimunchata yesha eva amritasya setuhu. Setu means bridge, means it's the hetu. So knowing Brahman is listening to Brahman. Brahman means myself. See, remember, Atma and Brahman are same. Brahman is not something different. So Atma, Brahman, may you know that as what? Aham Brahma eva asmi iti. That's the only thing to be known. And that releases you from all the bindings or bondage of anatma. I will still be involved in anatma, doing what is to be done, because I can't avoid action. Even Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Shankaracharya Bhagavan, who is the avatara of Lord Shiva, could they avoid any anatma transactions? No. Once this jiva has come with the body, mind, sense complex, it is impossible to avoid the worldly transactions. What is Vedanta telling us? Understand the nature of the worldly transactions as anatma. Stop bringing yourself into those interactions that I am aham karta, aham bhokta. Let the transactions take place at the level of the body, mind, sense complex with the Jagat. Understand that I am nothing but that Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, which is Brahman, which is the only thing worth knowing about, which will ultimately free me from this anatma bondage. So we'll stop here with this. Om Nandantu Sadhaka Sarve Vinashyantu Vidushakaha Avastha Shambhavi Mestu Prasannostu Gurus Sada Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkham Apnuyat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat.